Hey YouTube, my name is Marissa, and I think I posted like 2 videos on this channel a really long time ago. But I love to read, and I figured that I would share my love of reading with you guys, and there's a big booktube following on YouTube that I just found out about. I don't know how that happened, that I missed that boat. But yeah, I just found out about it, and I decided that I would start doing little book reviews and book hauls because, I mean, let's face it, what else do I have to do with my time? So, I have 3 books here, books that I haven't really seen reviewed a lot on YouTube. So, these are 3 of them, and I'm going to review them now. So the first book that I have here is If I Stay by Gail Forman. There's a little cover. The cover is really pretty. I love the cover on this. It's one of my favorites. There's a spot on mine. I don't know how the fuck that happened, but it did. So this is a young adult novel, and it's the only one I have here. The other 2 are adult fiction. So if you don't like young adult is very obvious when you read it that it is young adult. So if you don't like it, then this book definitely isn't for you. This is definitely an adult book. So this book is about a girl named Mia. She's 17 years old, and she's faced with a lot of choices in her life. And in the beginning of the book, she tells you that she's faced with the choice of picking between staying in her hometown and being with her boyfriend who's going on tour with his band, or going to Juilliard School for Music for cello playing. And in the beginning of the book, she's driving with her parents and her brother, and they get into a huge car accident. They're hit by a truck, and both of her parents die. And she is alive, and her brother's alive, but she doesn't know what's going on, and she's having an out-of-body experience this entire book, for the most part, except for like the first couple of chapters, I believe. But the rest of them, she's all having an out-of-body experience in the hospital, and she realizes that she can choose whether she wants to live or die. And honestly, I mean, I haven't read this book in a very long time. I read it years ago. But this book is very good, and it made me cry. It was the first book I ever read that actually made me sit there and cry like I just had my heart ripped out of my body. That would make you die. But you know what I mean. I was fucking bawling for this book. It was bad. There is a love story. She has memories. She thinks back to times with her boyfriend, first times with her boyfriend, things like that. So it is very young adult in the sense that, yeah, there's a teen relationship, and there are really crappy, like, teenage descriptions of sexual experiences, but I really like this book, and it's a really quick read. I mean, it's not very, let's see, how many pages is this thing? It's only 196 pages in big young adult font. So if you want a quick read that's sad and yet good, heart-wrenching even, I would pick this up at Barnes & Noble. It's in paperback now, I'm sure. This is an old book, but it was really good, so pick it up. The second book that I have to show you guys and do a small review on is American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis, and I'm sure that a lot of you have heard about at least the movie of this book. Sorry, the camera's shaking. I filmed this out of order, and the somewhat mound of clothing I had my camera on just fell. So, yeah, so this is a really interesting book. Let me tell you off the bat that it is really detailed and gruesome. The book is about Patrick Bateman, who is big on Wall Street, and he earns a lot of money there by day, but by night he sadistically rapes and kills and tortures women. And that book is basically, this entire book is basically just about his life, and there are very detailed descriptions of exactly what he does to these women, which is very hard to stomach at times. And, you know, I don't consider myself to be a girl who, you know, would be so turned off by that. Like, I can handle a lot, but there were parts in this book where I was like, okay, I'm gonna skip right through this part where he's telling me how he's decapitating this woman. So, if you're not really into that, then this probably isn't the book for you. in this book, although people think it's disgusting and gross because of the descriptions, it's also funny. I found it hilarious. I was laughing fucking hysterically a good way through this book. Because this character is so fucking sarcastic and cynical, and he hates the yuppie people that he works with and is friends with, and he hates his fiance because of how yuppie she is. And it's just hilarious, and it was definitely one of the funnier books I've read this year. Um, and Bret Easton Ellis does a fantastic job of making you love this character, even though he is a terrible person and kills people, and you don't want to like him just because, I mean, besides the fact that he kills people, he's a fucking terrible person in general. He's the kind of guy that'll walk past a homeless person on the street, go to put $1 in their cup, and then take it out and be like, haha. Like, that's so hard to make somebody like a character like that, but not only by the way that he is, like, hating his own kind, I guess, but he makes these characters that's just, they seem so much worse than him. So, I mean, there's definitely that. And he's very matter of fact about, like, completely the wrong things. Like, he's killing a woman, and he's so matter of fact about it. And, like, oh, this is just another girl I killed. But if somebody walks in last season's sweater, he freaks the fuck out. And it's hysterical. And it's great. And, like I said before, if you don't like all the grotesque, not grotesque, things about this book, I wouldn't read it, but it was fucking terrific, and there's a big twist at the end, or at least I thought it was a big twist. I didn't see it coming, and I was like, what the fuck? Even though I watched the movie before the book, I was still like, what the fuck, because I still couldn't believe that it happened. So that's American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis, and he does have other books, and what I love about this author is that I haven't read his other books, but the characters carry over. Like, he has a book that also has become a movie called The Rules of Attraction, and it mainly features Patrick Bateman's younger brother, who is Sean, who is also in this book, briefly. And there's another book about Patrick Bateman's childhood or teenage, college. I didn't read that one either. But yeah, so pick it up if it sounds like something that you'd be interested in. My last book is Johnny Got His Gun by Dalton Trumbo. There is a movie adaptation of this, and if any of you are familiar with the band Metallica, their music video for their song One is, it features clips from the movie adaptation of this, which was filmed in, I believe, like, the 60s, something like that. It's an old movie, black and white and everything. And the song is, I'm pretty sure, actually written about the movie because, I mean, Jesus Christ, it basically is the fucking book. So this is about a boy named Joe who is involved in the war in World War I, and he is severely injured. He gets bombed, and he ends up in a hospital, and he doesn't know where he is, if he's, in America or Europe or any place. He could be in Germany, he doesn't know. And he is basically just trying to figure out where he is. He can't hear, he can't see, and, spoiler, because you don't find out until, like, at least a third of the way through the novel, he doesn't have arms, legs, or a face. All of it's gone. And the only way he communicates with people is if his nurses aren't touching him. That is it. This book is comprised of a lot of memory and a lot of just his thoughts, because he can't hear and can't communicate with anybody. So it took me a while to read it just because of that. There was no conversation in the book. There's barely any quotation marks ever, because no one's ever speaking to him. And I really like books that have conversations in them. This one doesn't, so it was kind of like a difficult read for me, but I'm really glad that I read it. And I'm not a war book person, so that was also kind of a turn-off for me, that it was all about war, even though I didn't know what I thought it was going to be about. But I liked it, and it does get really weird because you're basically reading about how this guy doesn't even know what day it is. He doesn't know when it's dark or not. The only way that he finds out any, like, idea of what the date is that his nurse writes Merry Christmas on his chest with her fingers halfway through the book. So that's a spoiler, sorry. But that's the only time he realizes what date it is. He doesn't know what year it is. He doesn't know if he's ever going to see his family again. He doesn't know if his family would even want to see him. It's very, very gruesome, and it's brutal, and it's terrifying and shocking, and it's sad. And I think that's why I liked it so much. I tend to like really sad, terrible books. So if you're interested in this, I know it looks small, but the font is also really small on this. And it's about 250 pages. You could probably read it pretty quick if you like books like this. So if you're not really a war book person, and if you really like conversation in the book, then, I mean, I pick up this book because it's really awesome. So I hope that you guys at least somewhat enjoyed that book review. Sorry, it's my first one. Don't, kill me with the comments. So if you like it, subscribe. I'm going to try to post videos more often on a daily basis, hopefully, whether they're about books or not. I'm not trying to just set it out to have this channel be like a book-only review channel. I like makeup and stuff like that too, so I might post some stuff like that. I might post just rants about my life. So if you don't like hearing that, sorry. But yeah, leave comments, and if you really like this video, tell your friends about it. So I will see you guys next week.